Hello. Over the past 2 weeks, we have taken you behind the scenes at COP28 in Dubai as part of the Climate Reality Project's 24 Hours of Reality. The work of activists around the world leading up to this COP and in Dubai during the COP has been incredibly impressive. In fact, more than 300 climate reality leaders were integrated into many of the powerful and impactful contingents in the delegations from countries around the world. And others were extremely active in persuading delegates to take a very responsible approach. And we've never seen anything at this level at a COP before. So thank you for making all that possible. The groundswell of activism that we saw with this COP took place because the world desperately needs to agree on the boldest possible action right now. But it was also an important and direct response to the most brazen conflict of interest in the history of climate negotiations. And the fact that this COP was led by the CEO of one of the largest and by most accounts least responsible oil companies in the world, who welcomed thousands of fossil fuel lobbyists into the negotiations, really created an unusual situation. So what progress did we make this year in spite of the fact that the deck was kind of stacked against progress? Well, the decision to finally recognize that the climate crisis is at its heart a fossil fuel crisis is an important milestone. It's shocking, really, when you step back and look at the fact that it took 28 COPs before we could even use the phrase fossil fuels. That's how much control the fossil fuel industry and the petrostates have maintained over this whole process for so long. So we got that, and it's important. But you have to say it's also the bare minimum that we need, and that it's long overdue. The influence of the petrostates and the fossil fuel companies is still so evident in the half measures and loopholes that unfortunately were included in the final agreement, along with some welcome statements. Fossil fuel interests went all out to control the outcome of COP28, but the passionate work of millions of climate activists around the world inspired and motivated delegates from many nations to loosen the industry's grip. Now, whether this turns out to be a turning point that truly marks the beginning of the end of the fossil fuel era depends on the actions that come next and the mobilization of finance that's required in order to achieve them. When thinking about what comes next for our movement, this much remains unchanged. It is up to all of us to hold our leaders accountable to their promises to transition away from fossil fuels once and for all. The work we do with the Climate Reality Project and the action you take on climate remains of critical importance. So please continue to speak out and act and take on the hard conversations. Don't shy away from them. We cannot let oil and gas interests foil the efforts of the rest of us who are working for justice and to protect humanity's future. We cannot let hope give way to despair, and we will not. We cannot sit by and wait for all nations to summon the political will to overcome these narrow special interests and act on behalf of the future of humanity. We have to demand action now. But lest anyone doubt that we have the political will to deliver the change we need, always remember that political will is itself a renewable resource. Thank you very much.